The hosts feel it would be a little unkind to present this podcast without just a word of friendly warning. We are about to unfold the story of Frankenstein, a man of science who sought to create a man after his own image without reckoning upon God. It is one of the strangest tales ever told. It deals with the two great mysteries of creation, life and death. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now's your chance to. Well, we've warned you.
Hello and welcome once again to the Frankencast. I'm the mad scientist Anthony Bowman. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm joined as always by...
The crime against nature, that is, Eric Velasquez. My pronouns are also he, him.
Yeah, so this is one that we had a couple requests for, and I remember loving this movie when it came out. We're talking about Lilo and Stitch, the original animated version, not the new live-action one that I think might be out by the time this episode comes out.
Also, basically, is this version just in live action because that's what Disney's doing now?
Yeah, I am not a fan of these Disney live actions. I've seen a few of them and kind of just given up on, and especially a lot of the, you can do Cinderella mostly live action, but Lion King live action is just a CGI movie. There's nothing live about it. It's just a bunch of CGI lions. And Lilo and Stitch, you have some real people. You've got some, obviously Stitch is going to be CGI'd. But, a couple people had suggested that this was a Frankenstein movie. And I was like, I loved this movie when it came out, but I don't remember enough about it to really say. And wow, it really is a Frankenstein movie in a lot of ways. I was really, really surprised and really glad to rewatch this. I had forgotten how great this movie is.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely interesting. So, obviously, right off the bat, we were talking about how it's maybe not initially looking like a Frankenstein movie, but no, it says it is because Dr. Jumba has created Experiment 626, and that's exactly where we're going to start, is at the trial of Dr. Jumba.
Yeah. We've got this sort of Galactic Federation Council having this trial. And he initially denies that he's doing anything illegal, that he's been doing any genetic experimentation, and then they bring in Experiment 626.
Right. By the way, should we start actually running off the list of famous actors effectively that are in this? Because there's some that are already established by the time this movie was made in 2002, my last year of high school. And... yeah, and also DeBlois Chase has kind of been doing things. I don't know. Was Kevin McDonald ever an actual famous actor? I feel like he's one of those that guy comedy guys.
Yeah, he was. Is he from Kids in the Hall? He's one of the.
Yes.
Yeah. And then and we got Ving Rhames as
who's Cobra Bubbles. I love it. David Ogden Stiers, for those old MASH fans, he's Dr. Jumba. Mm-hmm. Chris Sanders is a voice actor, and that's pretty much all he's ever been known for, and he is Stitch. Tia Carrera, who was a big name at the time especially, playing Nani.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Chris Sanders, the voice of Stitch, also wrote, it was his idea, and then I think he co-wrote the screenplay, which is pretty cool.
Makes sense. Yeah. I'm pretty sure is he the actual voice of Stitch in the new one too? I feel like him and Kevin McDonald are reprising their roles.
It feels like yes, yeah, he is. I think he still is Stitch in the new one.
Right. Because that would be insulting, right? The guy who basically created it, and they're like, "Nah, we don't need you now. Bye."
Yeah, and Stitch has such a distinct voice that it would be disappointing to lose it.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right, but yeah, let's get this back on track. So apparently, Jumba literally just created Stitch to destroy things.
Yep,
that's fun.
This is a super-powered killing machine, is what he says.
Super indestructible.
Yeah, and but the council is well, we're gonna give the experiment a chance to prove that it is good, and they are gonna let Experiment 626 say something, and he just speaks, alien gibberish, and everyone's highly offended. So he's
right. He said some shit.
So yeah, and so they're like, nope, okay, we're gonna have to destroy him and punish Dr. Jumba. And so, but like I forget, they insult Jumba. They call him like an idiot or something, and he's like, no, I prefer an evil genius. So like he is literally a mad scientist and proud of it.
Yeah.
So the like sort of head commander of the Federation tasks
Gantu.
Yeah, Captain Gantu, who's like a giant shark guy, basically.
Right.
That he's supposed to dispose of the experiment.
Played by Kevin Michael Richardson, who's a well-known voice actor as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, all right, cool.
And so they're gonna dispose of 626 by banishing him to a deserted island, or a deserted asteroid. Sorry.
Right.
But as as things go, of course, because 626 is this superpowered killing machine, he has this. So he's got guns aimed at him. He's like chained to a wall. He's got guns aimed at him that are matched to his DNA signature, so they will only fire on him. But then he figures out that he will like drool and then suck it back up, and the guns will aim down at the spit.
Right, so he knows, okay, I can use my spit to escape because it has my DNA in it. Mm-hmm. So let me hawk a loogie at this other guy and get him fried.
Yep, so he spits on a guard and basically causes a bunch of chaos. He manages to escape into vents.
No one actually dies. A lot of property damage, though.
Yeah, it's still a Disney movie. We're not going to have a lot of death or anything. But lots of property damage in this movie, for sure. So he steals like a police cruiser type vehicle and warps to Earth. And right away, the Federation is like, what's on that planet? Can we just vaporize it? Let's just get rid of the whole planet. Right. That's how bad 626 is.
Oh, no, we can't do that. Pleakley, by the way, Mr. McDonald basically says, no, we can't because it's a protected wildlife sanctuary for these things called mosquitoes that are extremely endangered. So we really can't do that.
Yeah, which is such a great gag that, that alien...
I love that it comes back, though.
Yeah, it's really good. It comes back a couple times in great ways. But, so we've got to go in quietly... and be more subtle and just get 626 back without stirring things up too much. And then they see the trajectory. It looks like he's going into the ocean, and they're like, "Oh, actually, water is his only weakness. He'll just sink to the bottom, drown. It'll be it." But then they zoom in, and he is landing on
a small island.
Yeah, small island, Hawaii. So, so that's
the small big island. It looks like the big island.
Yeah. So then once we find out he's going to land on Hawaii, we cut to Hawaii, and we're kind of away from the Galactic Federation for a little bit. We have Lilo, our sort of main character, swimming in the ocean, and intercut with a bunch of hula dance troupe. It's like a dance troupe performing. We've got older girls, and then also a group of girls around Lilo's age dancing.
Right, but Lilo's obviously making her way towards this performance.
Yeah. So, she gets there sort of late, kind of scrambles onto stage, dripping water. A bunch of people slip and fall. She just kind of wrecks everything. And so we're going to get, this, it kind of sets us up that, Lilo is sort of a free-spirited kid. She's always up to something. She's not bad. She's just kind of wild. And,
this kid's riddled with ADHD, untreated ADHD.
Yeah.
I've seen these signs. I know what this is. I've been there.
Yeah, so of course the dance instructor's upset, and Lilo's like, but I had to go out and swim to feed a peanut butter sandwich to Pudge the fish, and I went out late because we only had tuna, and we can't serve tuna to a fish. That would be an abomination.
Right, it's fish to fish. It's not like fish eat each other. That's so weird.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's important that she feeds him at least once a week because he controls the weather.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. I mean, to a degree, I think that makes sense from a mythological standpoint, especially if she's heard stories. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
But then one girl's just like, okay, you're crazy. You're
Yeah.
just flat out nuts. And Lilo proves her point effectively.
Yeah.
And just goes ham on her.
Yeah, it starts a big fight. She ends up like biting this one girl in the process. And so then like everybody gets sent outside. The day's over, and she tries to like sort of apologize and like, you know, bond with these girls, but they want nothing to do with her. They're kind of they're mean to her, and you know they kind of go on their separate ways. And
but also to a point, it makes sense because she's slightly feral.
Yeah,
and they're clearly not.
Yeah. And so the instructor leaves her and is like, you stay here, your sister's on her way, just wait right here and she'll be here soon. But
yeah, we'll try again to do this dancing thing next week. You know?
But of course, you know, this doesn't work. We have her sister Nanny arrives at the dance studio, and Lilo is already gone. So
yeah,
she panics.
She's not going to stick around. She's got things to do.
Yeah. So we have Nani like running across town, you know, hoping that
almost
Lilo's
gets hit by a car.
Yeah.
By the way, how quintessentially early 2000s is this? Because she almost gets hit. She kicks the car and calls him a stupid head.
Yeah.
Which was that weird, almost baby talk was like a thing back then.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny, like, I feel like somebody rushing to get somewhere, almost getting hit, kicking the car is such a beginning of a movie thing from that time period. Like, I feel like it was in a lot of them. It's especially funny in, like, Hawaii. This is not like New York where we got a lot of traffic or anything.
Right.
But she...
I wonder if this guy will come back. He's got a character energy, not main character. Supporting character, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, because we do cut briefly inside to see the guy. He's this big, intimidating guy with, sunglasses.
He looks an awful lot like Ving Rhames.
Yeah. So when Nani gets home, she finds that Lilo is home, but she has locked herself in the house and won't let Nani inside.
Right. She's like depression listening to Elvis.
Yeah, laying on the floor, just mouthing the words to "So Lonely I Could Cry."
Right.
And Nani is panicking because she knows that the social worker will be here any minute.
Right.
She can't get the door open because Lilo has nailed it shut. She is not playing around.
She doesn't want to be bothered at all. She just wants to sit and cry. Understandable, kid. Understandable.
Yeah.
But, hey, there's a new guy who just arrived, and he's hearing Nani basically saying, I'm going to cook you.
Yeah.
And, like, eat you.
Yeah, and so she's like, you know, of course this is the car that she kicked. This is the social worker. Yes,
Mr. Stupid Head, as he calls himself.
Yeah. So she's like, wait right here. She runs around back. The back door is also locked. She ends up, I think she climbs in a window and lets him in through the back door.
Yeah.
And the house is a wreck. There's like food cooking on the stove. Like, and he's like, you left the stove on while you were gone. It's just
none of this is safe for a child. This is real bad.
Yeah, everything looks really bad.
But this is when we get his name is Bubbles, or he introduces himself as Bubbles. Lilo notices that on his hands there's tattooed the word Cobra.
Yeah.
So Mr. Cobra Bubbles. Sorry, I almost said Knuckles. Cobra Knuckles sounds a little bit cooler, but we'll go with Cobra Bubbles.
Yeah. Of course, Nani tries to get Lilo to be cooperative and talk to him about how well-adjusted she is, but she
starts play ball until she doesn't.
Yeah, she has to make it weird. This is just who she is.
Right, she disciplines me 5 times a day with a pillowcase and bricks. Oh, no!
Yeah. And, Nani's like, everything's fine, I promise. She's just, and he's like, no, things are not fine. Like, I'm the one they call when things are already bad, and things are very bad.
This is real bad.
Yeah.
He's like, basically, you got 3 days or I'm taking your sister.
Yeah. So he leaves, and of course, he effortlessly opens the front door with all the nails. Nails just, spray everywhere when he pulls the door open.
Right.
And, as soon as he's gone, Nani is upset. She starts chasing Lilo all over the house.
Lilo's running.
Yeah, and she's like, do you not understand? They're going to take you away. Like, is that what you want?
No, she's a kid. She clearly doesn't understand.
Yeah. Kids just aren't capable of understanding this level of like responsibility and what's going to happen. It's just that like their like mental capacity is just not there.
Yeah.
And, you know, of course, Lilo just like throws a tantrum about it. She's like, well, why don't you probably like that? Like, it'd be better for you. Maybe you should just sell me and buy a rabbit.
You're right. And Nani's like, I'm considering that, actually.
Yeah.
That sounds like a consideration.
And I like, so they yell at each other. They both like kind of run to separate rooms and slam doors and both scream into pillows at the same time. So
right,
like
it's like they're very similar yet not, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So then we just have a little later Nani bringing some pizza into Lilo's room as like a peace offering. They've had time to cool off, and Lilo's like, "We're a broken family, aren't we?"
Right. Which that sucks that she knows that.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's rough, kid, but yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah. But like Lilo does have some perspective. You know, Nani like apologizes for yelling at her, and she's like, "We're sisters, though. You're supposed to yell at me. I like you better as a sister than a mom. But unfortunately, this is the roles we've gotten stuck in."
Right. Nani does promise to yell at her less, but Lilo's like, maybe we could just keep it to Tuesdays and bank holidays. Which that's not a kid thing to say. Why would you write that?
Yeah. But they're
it's funny, but
yeah.
Yeah.
So then they're interrupted. They see like this bright green falling star off in the distance, and Lilo's like, "You got to get out. That's my star. I get the wish. Get out of here."
Right. Right.
And like Nani kind of like listens through the door, and we get like a really sad moment where Lilo is like praying for a friend. Like she just needs somebody who gets her and appreciates
a nice
her.
angel from the Lord. Maybe the nicest angel the Lord has. Cue Stitch crash landing, and obviously like a mad space alien goes.
Yeah. He's just screaming with like the fire in the background. It's the opposite of the nicest angel.
Right.
Then
I feel like he's my spirit animal, though. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. So he runs down to a street, sees a frog. Of course, he has no context for what, you know, the food chain, basically, you know, and he just starts like
arguing. Take me to your leader, frog. This is clearly your planet.
Yeah. Then he just gets hit by a truck. And the drivers like get out and like check on him, and then we just cut to him waking up in like a dog pound, basically.
Right, with all the dogs terrified of him.
Yeah, they're all like in the corner, like, you know, whimpering and everything. And just
right. By the way, I like how the guys saw this thing that had a bunch of spines and 6 limbs. It was like, that's clearly a dog.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
But coincidentally, Nani and Lilo have decided that maybe adopting a dog is going to fix their problems, which, no, it's never going to fix your problems, but
no,
it works out.
Adding a new family member doesn't make it easier.
No.
Right, but they want something sturdy, something that could take a hit. You know, something that could be ran over by a truck and wake up the next day.
Right.
Don't we all, but still.
Yeah. So when 626 wakes up, he is like, he's going to try to, you know, escape the pound. He goes outside, and outside...
Well, he pulls his gun on all the other dogs, but he doesn't have guns now. He's completely naked.
Yeah. But when he gets outside, he just barely manages to dodge a shot from Dr. Jumba, who is there as, like, you know... They sent Jumba and Pleakley to be, like, the subtle attempt...
Quote, unquote.
Yeah.
Yeah, did we I guess we skipped over that where Jumba and Pleakley basically got recruited by the High Council. It was like, hey, you've got to fix your fuck up.
Yeah, I don't... Did they... yeah, that must have happened whenever he landed on Hawaii. Like, they agreed, like, that they were going to be, you know, the subtle method before, you know, hopefully we don't have to send Gantu down there.
Right. Now, that'll be real bad if they send Gantu, because he's the biggest badass, I guess.
Yeah.
Clearly, though, Stitch has already bit his finger, so maybe he's not that much of a badass. You know?
Yeah. But, you know, again, like, Pleakley is like, no, we can't just go shooting up the place. We're the subtle team. So 626 is able to escape, or, like, run back into the pound where he's safe. And then, like, you know, Lilo and Nani are going to, like, take a look at available dogs, and he has an idea.
He's like, this is my fucking chance, yeah.
Yep. So he sucks in his extra limbs, his antenna, and his spines, and is now just Still not really looking that much like a dog, but a little bit more.
No, as they said, he looks more like a koala than anything, right?
Yeah. So, of course, because Lilo is Lilo, this is it. She wants this weird dog, and everybody's like, no, this is the worst one. There's a lot of better dogs here. She's like, nope, this is the guy. Right. This is mine.
Well, the lady who's running the Humane Society is like, clearly, this thing was dead just a little bit ago. So it should not be here. You should not adopt this thing.
Yeah. And she's like, nope, this is mine. His name is Stitch. And they're like, and I like the adoption agent still. He's like, that's not a name. And Nani gives her a look, and she's like, it is now. It's totally a name here. It's not a name in other countries, but here,
like Sweden.
Yeah. I thought that was really cute. So they all come walking out together, and again, Jumba's like, I could shoot him. I could shoot them all. We could get him right now. And Pleakley's like...
But Pleakley's like, no, that's a girl. He's using the girl as a human shield.
Yeah, and she's an important part of the mosquito food chain, so we cannot hurt her.
Right. I love it.
Yeah, so...
Pleakley really cares about these mosquitoes.
Yep. So then we have... Nani has to go to work, and Lilo is just going to wander around town. She immediately bumps into those girls from her dance class, and she's like, look, I got a new dog. And they're like, that's not a dog. That thing is gross.
Right. And then I love how Stitch is basically just punches the girl in the face and steals her trike.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck them kids.
Yep. So Lilo hops on the back of the little big wheel trike, and they go speeding off. And we see... Jumba and Pleakley watching in their new human disguises. They're trying to blend in.
Yeah, quote, quote. Right. Jumba's like, okay, so, I mean, that's fine. Like, he's going to revert back to his programming, which is to destroy everything by backing up the sewers, stealing all the traffic signs, and everyone's left shoe.
Yeah. He's
their left shoes.
He's going to head to the nearest large city. And then we see, sure enough, that's what Stitch is trying to do. He's got the trike. He's biking all over the island, and quickly realizes there is no large city on this island. And
nope, it's just island.
Yep. And as we discussed, he can't get into the ocean. Like, the water would be too much. So he's trapped.
This is like the perfect place to trap him. That's weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, but we also get scenes, basically like a montage of him being a little asshole. Yeah. But also bonding with Lilo to a degree.
Yeah, he's clearly suffering that he's trapped on this island, but like Lilo is just having a great time. She doesn't notice. She's just excited about her new dog.
Right. All the time the Jumba is watching Stitch and Stitch is watching Jumba watch him.
Yeah.
We have a watchception.
Yeah. So then we see, like, at the end of the montage, Lilo and Stitch are sitting down at a table at this, like, luau-themed restaurant. This is where Nani works.
We get a fire dancer by the name of David.
Yep.
Who is not a great fire dancer because he burns the house down. Like, legit burns the house down.
He's causing some chaos. And, Nani takes him over, like, gets introduced to Stitch, and Lilo says something like, he's particularly bad for his size. He's troubled.
Right. I love it. That she's helping herself by helping him. She has like a picture of Stitch, and she's mostly colored in red, and she's like, this is your badness level. This is how bad you are. And like literally just the top of his head is the only thing not red.
Yeah. And we get a bit here where like David clearly has like, does he call her cousin, but he also, like, is into her? Like, I mean, I know that,
You're on an island, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
But also, it could just be, like, I feel like that's just a thing, right? That's like bro, or in Puerto Rico, papi. Which in Mexico, you don't call your friend papi, because that's weird. Like, and most other Spanish, I guess any other Spanish place. Puerto Rico, like, my dad used to call me papi. And I'm like, nope, you got this backwards, bro.
But yeah, he clearly has feelings for Nani. He asks her out, and she's like, I've got a lot to deal with right now. Like, it's clear that she maybe has a little bit of feelings for him as well, but she's just like, she's a 20-something having to try to raise her, like, feral little sister.
Right.
She's just got too much on her plate to, like, care about herself, which sucks. That's unfortunate, it's...
well, she doesn't get her childhood, right? Because she has to be an adult.
Yeah.
Early on.
Yeah. Jumba tries to, like, he thinks this is an opportunity. He's going to try to capture Stitch because there's a lot going on here. Maybe he can get away with it. But things get real chaotic real fast. We have, like, Stitch fitting Pleakley's entire head in his mouth, just, like, chomping on him. And,
nom nom.
And again, they're disguised as tourists here. So, like, you know, Jumba's wearing, like, a Hawaiian shirt and, like, a bucket hat. Pleakley has, like, a bob wig, so he looks like it's supposed to look like a lady. And in all the chaos, of course, you know, Nani gets fired.
You know. But I do like how Pleakley's like, no, it's, you know, just me and my husband here. It's all fine. Yeah. And then Jumba's like, she's ugly. Like, excuse my ugly wife, you know.
Yeah, I think he's like, or they said like, oh no, what's wrong? Like, she's hurt. And he's like, no, she was always this ugly.
Yeah. Yeah, but Pleakley's playing off. It's like, oh, he's joking. Verbal spousal abuse, that's funny.
Yeah.
No.
So then we had, you know, of course, Nani taking Lilo and Stitch home, and Lilo's like, is it my fault that you got fired? And of course it is, yes. But Nani is like, no, right. My manager's a vampire, and he was mad that I wouldn't join his Legion of the Undead.
Right. And Lilo's like, I figured. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm a child.
Yeah.
But I do like how they, as soon as they get inside, Stitch just goes ham on the whole place. Rips into the cushions, like, just runs around like a dog, like a untrained dog.
Yeah. So yeah, he's tearing stuff up. Nani is on the phone with someone. I'm not sure if this is David or just somebody else.
Yeah. And
she's like, I don't think this thing is a dog. He must have mutated from something. I don't know.
She's not wrong.
Yeah. And so, like, a little later, like, Nani's like, I think we maybe need to take him back. I don't think he's right for us.
Nope, can't do it. Ohana means family.
Yep. And
family means no one gets left behind or forgotten.
Yeah. And Nani is like, I hate it when you use Ohana against me, but okay, fine, you're right. So Lilo and Stitch go up to her room where she gives him a baby bottle full of coffee. Absolutely.
Sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah. And she's like, why don't you can sleep here in this dog bed? And he's not having it. He gets in her bed.
Right. Because he's not a dog. He's like, whatever.
Yeah.
But then he starts, like, ripping into stuff, and he sees her pictures on the wall.
Yeah, and he finds one specific one that, like, as soon as he touches it, she flips out. Like, she's been very, like, letting him get away with anything, but this one picture...
But not this.
Yeah, so this is a photo of...
I wonder if they're saving this for... Well, I was going to say, I wonder if they're saving it for an emotional, reaction later. But it's clear that it's her family, as you were going to say.
Yeah. We still don't know the whole story here, but yeah, it's her and Nani and their parents.
Yeah.
And so then she is surprisingly patient. Like, she's very good with Stitch. Like, it almost, you know, over the course of this movie, like, it becomes the thing that allows her to grow up a little bit. So here she, like,
it's the way to help other people, or the way to help yourself is to help other people.
Yeah.
Right.
So she says, you know, you wreck everything you touch. Why don't you try to make something? And
he's like, you know what? That's a damn good idea. Let's go.
Yep. So he immediately builds, like, a scale model of San Francisco that's perfect and beautiful, has the Golden Gate Bridge, everything looks great.
Right. But like I would do at that age, he immediately sets about stomping through it and kicking everything over.
Yeah. Like, what's the point of making... So you got a Godzilla. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah, if you're making a full-scale model of, like, a town, why not?
Yeah. Then we see Pleakley and Jambu are watching through binoculars.
Right. A mosquito lands on Pleakley, and he's like, "Oh, he's coming to nuzzle me with his little long proboscis."
Yep. And then he's just, like, fully swarmed. They just, like, sting, you know, bite him all over, and he's not happy.
See, I thought the twist of this whole plot was going to be that, oh, now he hates them and wants to destroy all of them, but that's not it.
Nope.
That's not it at all.
Yeah, he is willing to accept that this is part of their life cycle or whatever.
Yeah, but at this point, Nani's still talking on the phone. She's like, "I'm pretty sure this is a weird koala, like, instead of a dog."
Yeah. And she actually, she's saying this, and she, like, walks into the kitchen, and Stitch is there with the fridge open, getting a snack by himself.
Right. He's like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, again, we have, like, we get a moment with Jambu again where he's like, 626 was created to be a monster and to destroy, but now he has nothing to destroy. What must it be like to have nothing?
No purpose, no family.
Not even memories to visit in the night. So, like, here we're really...
I wonder if this is the whole crux of the movie.
Yeah, we're really getting our Frankenstein stuff here where it's like, he was made for a purpose that he cannot fulfill, and he has nothing else, and that's horribly lonely. It's got to be the worst feeling. And so we do see... We cut from him saying that to Stitch up in the middle of the night, kind of mournfully digging through Lilo's books, just trying to find something to, like, engage his mind, and he finds...
But then he finds a book, and he's like, this is fucking hilarious. Like, this is funny, and he wants to show Lilo. And she's like, oh, yeah, that's The Ugly Duckling. This is the saddest book. And he's like, no, that's funny. Look at that. He's so sad.
Yeah, so she, like, tells him, he... finds his family and gets to learn where he belongs and everything. And that sort of resonates with Stitch. Obviously, he does not have a family, does not know where he belongs.
But Lilo's like, now it's time to listen to Elvis, because that's what I do.
Yeah. And we cut immediately to the next morning where Lilo is like, hey, Nani, watch this. And we find that Stitch has a very unique talent, which is that you could put one of
many.
Yeah, you could put his claw on a spinning record and open his mouth and music comes out. And then you close his mouth, the music stops. He's just like a Victrola record player. So that's pretty cool. I don't know how she managed to accidentally find that he can do this.
Well, there's a few instances of tell, don't show here. And this is one of them, kind of, right?
Yeah.
But then this time for Bubbles to show up.
Yep, he heard that Nani lost his job, and she's like, yeah, no, I didn't lose it. I quit to focus. I'm going to put all my energy into raising Lilo. This is a good thing.
And he's like, you need a job. You got to pay for things. This is capitalism, baby.
Yep. And Stitch throws a book at Bubbles, and she's like, I'm sorry, we just got a new dog, and he's not housebroken yet. And
Bubbles is like, yeah, dog, that's what that is.
Yeah, and he's like, all right, you have 3 days. The next time I see you, you better have a new job, and that thing better be a model citizen.
Right. Okay, fair enough. So it's like, he already knows, right? We're going to find out that he really does.
Yes,
but,
yes. So we have another montage here of Nani looking for jobs, and Lilo trying to teach Stitch to be a model citizen.
Right. But of course, like, she's teaching him through the lens of Elvis, which... I don't know how you got that guy was a model citizen.
Yeah. I mean, it's clearly like she loves Elvis so much. He is like the ideal of a perfect man to her. So, yeah. But of course, so every scene, it's like Nani's doing well with her interview. Stitch seems like he's figuring things out, but then something bad happens every time. He wrecks things, ruins her job opportunity over and over again.
Initially she's trying to get a job at like a market, and he just comes in with a like ukulele, and somehow the ukulele is loud enough to break all the glass in the area.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
And there's even one of them, I think it's like a coffee shop. Bubbles is there getting a drink like as this all happens, and he just again, just kind of like gives her a dirty look like, I'm watching you,
Yeah. The next one, she's trying to get a job as a concierge, and this is when Lilo's like, hey, you ought to be really nice to this old lady. Grab her hand and give her a kiss. What? Like, you're playing house with actual living beings. Stop it.
Yeah. And so I think the last one is that she tries to become a lifeguard. And here Stitch like comes out in full Elvis outfit, doing like a great impersonation.
With electric ukulele, so he's stepping it up in the world.
Yeah, and everything seems to be going great, except it's going so well that the crowd swarms around this weird Elvis impersonating dog creature. They're just, it's like when the ladies saw Elvis, they just like, run to him or whatever.
Well, it's time to overstimulate him.
Yep.
And
so he flips out, just wrecks everything on the beach. And of course Nani does not get that job, so then we just have everybody like just sit down in the sand, all defeated. And then David
comes up and he's like, hey, it'll be great if we catch these boards and some bitchin' waves. Let's go, guys.
Yep, the perfect cure to a bad day. And Nani's like, you know what? you're right. Let's do it. So we get this great surfing montage that is a lot of fun. We have like, a lot of different configurations, and basically, it seems like Stitch never really he's like. Either Nani or David will have Stitch while the other one is surfing with Lilo on the board. So, Stitch is not really surfing. He's just kind of chilling on the board.
But to a degree, they all get together on the beach, but they're literally excluding Stitch.
Yeah.
And they start burying Lilo, and he's like, oh, I kind of want to be buried too.
Yeah.
And starts burying himself.
Yeah, so Jambu and Pleakley are watching from a tree. Pleakley is on the phone with his mom, and he's like, yeah, we're having a lot of trouble. This is really rough. But then he gets a call waiting, and it's the commander who wants a status report.
Right. You guys need to figure this out and get this done. You should have had it done by now.
Yeah. And then Jambu's like, wait, he's willingly going towards the water, and we see that Stitch has sort of convinced everyone he wants to surf too, and everyone's like, okay, yeah, we'll take you out. We'll let you surf.
But he's like, wait, I actually programmed it into him to be terrified of the water. Mm-hmm. He should not want to do this.
Yeah. And so, and clearly, when we see, he's a little scared at first, but then he stands up and he's having a great time. He's, which I think is the first sign that, Stitch is capable of growth. Losing his fear also means that he could lose his violent tendencies and his desire to destroy and everything.
Right, which he kind of has been. But also, this is when Pleakley and Jumba get some bad news. They're getting fired because they're taking too damn long.
Yeah. Well,
this isn't bad news for Jumba because this now means he can do shit his way.
Yep.
He ain't got to follow no stupid laws.
Yeah, so we immediately cut to him bursting out of a wave, taking Stitch out, knocking him off the surfboard, and then everybody kind of falls off at the same but I think Stitch getting knocked off changes the balance, so everybody else falls, and Stitch tries to grab for Lilo to he's scared, he doesn't want to drown, and Jumbo grabs...
Well, Jumbo's like, fuck them, I'll take them both. I don't care about this kid.
Yep, so he's dragging them both under the water. Nani manages to get Lilo away, but now Lilo's upset that Stitch is going to drown, so David jumps in the water to swim after him, and he manages to get Stitch and get him onto shore, and somehow does not see Jumbo at all. So nobody's aware of them. They've still managed to hide this whole time.
Right.
Then I think we see is Bubbles there on the beach? I think they bump into Bubbles again.
Yes.
Right
so
after this.
David saves Stitch, gets him to the beach. Stitch just is fine. He doesn't need CPR because how the fuck would you even do that with his mouth being that wide? Bubbles is like, cool. Tell you what, Nani, you really need to think about Lilo. Legitimately, and honestly, it would be better for the both of you if you were out of the picture in this case.
Yeah.
Which is a harsh thing to say, but also not untrue necessarily at this moment from his perspective.
Yeah, it is, so far he's just kind of been this sort of unwavering kind of jerk. It seems like he's not...
Seems like a jerk.
Yeah, but here he says, I know you're trying. I see that. I don't want you to think that what you're doing has been for nothing. I do.
Right, but you're a kid.
Yeah.
You're a kid, she's a kid. How are you going to do this?
Yeah, maybe it would be best for her for now if she goes somewhere else.
Right. Now, don't get me wrong. Definitely not the foster system, please.
Yeah.
That's a whole mess, but...
Yeah.
If some people are listening and were raised in the foster system and had a good experience, great, awesome. I've heard way more horror stories, though.
Yeah, definitely. Bubbles says I'm gonna, I'll give you tonight, and I'll be there in the morning to take Lilo.
Right, you got tonight to say goodbye.
Yeah, and he says, I'm really sorry. He does genuinely know that this is going to be painful for both of them.
Right. But David and Stitch are overhearing this, and Stitch is like, oh, shit, we got to fix it. And David's like, I really thought they were going to be fine, and it seemed like they were going to make it, which, what? where were you, buddy? Because no, they were not going to make it. But he still blames Stitch. He's like, until you came along.
Yeah.
You kind of ruined everything.
Yeah.
But also, David wasn't there to see all the other shit going on, so...
Right, yeah.
Keep your damn mouth shut, David.
So, Nani and Lilo have, like, gone ahead, and Stitch is kind of following behind, looking sad, feeling guilty about all this.
Right. We see some strange actual ducklings instead of swans walk past him, and he's like, those are ducks. I know what this means.
Yeah.
I'm an ugly duckling.
Yep. So, at the house, we have Nani and Lilo resting in a hammock, and clearly Lilo does not understand what's happening, and Nani does not know how to tell her. She keeps, like, starting to, and then, like, backing off, and then she's like, you know what? And she just starts singing Aloha Oi. Which is, you know, this sort of, like, melancholy until we meet again kind of song. And Stitch is, like...
Gives her some flowers from her hair.
Yeah, and Stitch is watching this all, and he looks... Like, he understands more than Lilo what is happening, and he, you know, he's upset to see that, like, she might be like him soon. She might lose her family as well.
Right. So they return home, and in the bedroom, he grabs the picture, and this is when Lilo explains, hey, that's my family. That was, like, right before we... went on a drive, it was raining. You know, you could figure out what happened from there.
Yeah.
There was an accident.
And Lilo says, what happened to your family? I hear you crying at night. Do you dream about them?
We don't see him crying in the middle of the night, though. That's the whole tell, don't show thing that they did twice.
Yeah. And she's like, I know that's why you wreck things and why you push me. Our family is little now. We don't have a lot of toys, but if you want, you could be a part of it.
Yeah.
And this
is when she's like, our family's small and broken, but it's still good.
Yeah, and she says, or she tells him the Ohana thing. You know, family means nobody gets left behind, but if you want to leave, you can. I'll remember you.
Or forgotten.
Yeah. She says, I'll remember you, though. I remember everybody that leaves. Which is, that's rough.
Yeah. This kid's had some trauma, for real.
Yeah. And the whole time that she's kind of giving this speech, Stitch is leaving. Of course, she does. You know, Stitch thinks he's doing the right thing here. He's responding to what David told him, but she doesn't know that. So, like, it looks like he's just another person abandoning her. And she's already made peace with it, which that's depressing. Yeah, and he takes her Ugly Duckling storybook with him. Like, it's the only thing he has now at this point.
Right.
So we have him just alone reading the story, and there's like one specific page that we keep seeing that shows the ugly duckling by itself, and there's like a word
saying
bubble.
I'm lost.
Yeah, and he's able to read that. He just says it, or like he yells it. I think even like he realizes he is as lost as this swan.
I apologize. This is where Pleakley and Jumba get fired, because this is when Jumba's like, hey, I can do shit my way, so immediately runs up on Stitch. And he's like, hey, buddy, you're coming with me? That's what's happening now.
Yeah, so we know that the commander is also sending Captain Gantu, but like, you know, Pleakley and Jumba are going to try to handle it before he gets there. And yeah, Jumba is holding this gun on him, and he's like, don't make me shoot you. You were expensive. And Stitch just kind of like sits down, and he's like waiting.
He's like, where's my family?
Yeah. And
I'm waiting for my family, is what he says.
And Jumba's like, you don't have a family. I made you.
Your only purpose is to destroy things.
Yeah, you can never belong anywhere. And Stitch gets up and runs away. So like this feels very much like, you know, the monster and the mad scientist getting to have that conversation. You know, we see in most Frankenstein adaptations.
Of course.
And we like, so Stitch has run off into the woods. We just cut to the next morning where Nani is like sitting at the table, like tearfully drinking a cup of coffee. Lilo walks in. She's sad too. She still doesn't, I don't think, understand she's going to be taken away, but she's sad because Stitch ran away. And
I was like, oh, well, you know, some things just don't work out, kid.
Yeah. And Nani's, again, this kind of gives Nani an opportunity to, like, sort of try to explain what's getting ready to happen and sort of justify it. She says, sometimes you try your hardest, but things don't work out the way you want them to. Sometimes things have to change, and maybe sometimes they change for the better, even if... And then there's a knock at the door.
Right. Hey, guess what? It's David. It's time. Hey, I found you a job.
Yeah. And so immediately everything, like the whole vibe shifts. Nani is like, Nani's like, you lock the door. Don't answer the door don't answer it, no matter who it is. Don't let him in.
Literally no one.
I will be back really soon. Things might be looking up. Everything could be okay. So we have Nani and David running across town.
As soon as they do, Stitch and Gantu just bust inside. Mm-hmm. Or Jumba. Stitch and Jumba bust inside.
Yeah, and again, Stitch thinks that, he'll be safe with Lilo, but Jumba's like, no, I'm not going to be stopped by your little friend anymore. We got fired. I don't have any rules.
Right. And so time to cue the fight music as Nothing But a Hound Dog starts playing.
Yep. And we just have, they just wreck the house, basically. Jumba and Stitch running everywhere, blasters going off all over the place. Lilo, we didn't say this, but the first time we had Bubbles, he gave Lilo his business card and said, call me if there's anything, if there's ever any problems. And
well, this is problems, so time to call.
So she calls him and says, aliens are trying to destroy my house.
Right. Pleakley is begging her to stop. He's like, please don't do this.
Yeah,
we don't need the heat.
He's yelling into the phone, no aliens here, everything is fine, don't just ignore this little girl. Yeah, that's not going well.
Bubbles is like, I'm on my way.
Yeah. So, I mean, and Stitch appears holding an entire Volkswagen Beetle, smashes Jumbo with it, and then jumps up on top of it holding a chainsaw. It's just, this fight is craziness.
Right. She's like, my dog has a chainsaw now.
And then he manages to get, I think he gets the Jumba's laser pistol and is going to fire it at him, but Jumba clogs the end with a carrot.
Is it Jumba that does it, or is it Stitch? Because I feel like Jumba's about to shoot on him, and then Stitch is like, boop.
Yeah, I don't either way, basically they have now created a time bomb. This thing is going to overload, and so
let's play hot potato.
Yep, they're throwing it back and forth, and it's very Looney Tunes. When we get to the "You Are It," it lands in Jumba's hands. He's like, "Ha, I win!" And then he's like, "Oh no, wait!" And then explosion.
Right, but Stitch is literally right beside him, so neither of them really win. They both lose.
Yeah, but that obviously completely demolishes the house. Meanwhile, we cut to Nani, who has gotten the job. She's walking outside. She's like, thanks so much. I'll be here early tomorrow. You won't regret it. It's going to be great.
Cue fire truck running right past her.
And she's like, oh no, don't turn left. Don't turn left. It turns left. So she starts running across town to get back to the house. And, when she gets there, Bubbles is already there. He's putting Lilo in his car. And Nani is yelling, don't do this, don't take her away. She needs me. I'm the only one who understands her. And Bubbles points at the completely wrecked house and is like, she needs this? This is what she needs in her life?
Right. This is clearly not conducive to a growing child.
Yeah, I think you need her more than she needs you.
I mean, you're not necessarily wrong, but this is also when Lilo and Stitch take their time to escape from the car.
Yep. They run off into the forest. Stitch manages to find the photo that is slightly singed around the edges, but still okay.
Right.
So
this is when Leo's like, you ruined everything.
Yeah, this is all your fault. And then he gives up and he reveals his alien features. His other arms pop out, his antenna, his spines. And she's like, oh, you're one of them. Okay, this all makes sense. Get out of here. I don't want anything to do with you.
Right. Which I feel like as a kid, that's not how you would react. Or maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not a kid. But I feel like I'd be like, hell yeah. You're an alien. Shit yeah. Let's go.
But before Stitch can walk away, Gantu pops out and shoots him with this net gun that also gets Lilo in the process.
Oh no. And yeah, basically he's taking both of them off. And he's bragging about the whole time, right?
Yeah. He dumps them into this little capsule that he attaches to the outside of the ship, and he's like, "Oh look, I even got."
got you a snack for the way home, buddy.
Yeah.
So you get to enjoy that.
Yeah. But right before the ship takes off, because Stitch is just this weird, machine made for trouble, he's able to like squeeze through a hole or like a gap that like nothing should be able to squeeze through.
Right. But he's Stitch, so he gets to do that, right?
Yeah. And then the ship takes off and he falls, lands back on Earth, but Lilo is still trapped in the capsule that is leaving the planet.
Right. Now Nani runs up and she's like, "What the hell happened to my sister? Like, why didn't you stop him?" And he like keeps trying to do the dog stick, and she's like, hits him with a broom. She's like, "I know you can talk.
Yeah.
Like, I've heard you talk."
Yeah. And he's about to tell her what happens, but then we have Pleakley and Jumba appear. They get him into like a sort of like straight jacket kind of thing, like restrain his arms. And she's like, "Where is Lilo? Bring her back." And they're like, "We can't. Like,
can't do that.
Our job is just to get him." And Nani, breaks down. She just like kind of falls to her knees, crying there. And Stitch goes up to her, and he's like, "Ohana. Ohana means family."
And no one gets left behind or forgotten.
Yeah.
And she's like, "How dare you use Ohana against me?"
Yeah. And so then Stitch starts speaking an alien language to Jumba, who is like, he's like,
how dare you ask me to help you after everything you've done? And then, yeah, like you said, Stitch just goes, "Bap," and then he's like, "Okay, yeah, I'll help."
Yeah. And Pleakley's like, "Really?" And he's like, he's very persuasive.
Yeah. One of the best lines of the movie.
Yep. So we have, they get into Jumba and Pleakley's ship, and pursue after Gantu. We see.
Yeah, we have a hell of a dogfighting scene almost.
Yeah. It's Lilo sees that Stitch is in the other ship, so she's like, "Okay, they're coming to rescue me," and then like they pull up to where Gantu can see, and he's like, "Wait, he's in there, but I thought I had him."
Right. Oh, I hate that little guy.
Yeah. So yeah, as you said, we get this whole big dogfight, and like I think again, Stitch jumps onto the capsule and is like clawing it. He's trying to break it so that Lilo can get out.
But Gantu does something to get him in the thrusters and literally burns him off.
Yeah. So he gets knocked back to Earth again. But of course, Gantu has to follow after him. That's what he's here for. So he turns around, goes back to the planet.
Meanwhile, Stitch is like, "How the fuck do I get back on that ship?" And then he sees the frog again. He's like, "Hey, bud." And somehow that he gets an idea-ish as a gas truck comes speeding by, and he's like, "I'm going to stop this without getting hit this time."
Yep. So he steals the truck, drives it into a volcano, and then
a lava field.
Yeah, and then punctures a hole in the side, so gas starts leaking out. There's a huge explosion.
He calls Gantu, "Hey, stupid head."
Yep.
Because that was the thing. That was the 90s tagline. You do something really cool, say something really stupid, and they do the cool thing again.
Yeah. So he launches through the windshield of Gantu's ship. He throws Gantu out of the ship. Then he manages to rescue Lilo and even rescues Gantu. He grabs him, this giant shark man. And they land the ship in the ocean right next to David. And Lilo's like, "Can you give us a ride to the shore?" And David,
"Yeah, but it'll take 2 trips."
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. So,
well, as soon as they arrive, it's the Federation! Yay!
Yep, we have the commander, and she's got an army of just regular goon soldiers or whatever.
The goon squad.
And Gantu is trying to explain. She's like, "No, you're fired as well. Nobody's. I had to come here and do this myself. That's
right.
Embarrassing.
I'm the only one getting credit for this."
Yeah. So she's like, "Okay, we're gonna put 626 back on the ship and get him back there." And
right, Captain, you're also retired.
Yeah.
So,
but when she says 626, he says Stitch, and she's like, "What?" And
what?
"My name is Stitch."
Huh.
And so yeah, she's like, that's it, that's new. And he's like, can I say goodbye? Like he's kind of like willingly just like, okay, clearly I'm the problem, I'll go, but let me say goodbye to my family.
Right, but as he's doing so, she's like, hey, what's your purpose now? Like, what are you doing here? Like, what are you thinking? Like, she's trying to basically see how much he's grown.
Yeah, and Pleakley is like, maybe we could just leave him here. And the commander's like, no, our laws are absolute. Like, they can't change. Yeah. And then...
But Bubbles is like, hey, show him the thing you got from the Humane Society.
Yeah, you bought that thing, right? And she's like, yeah. And so she pulls out the receipt, and she's like, the
adoption papers.
Yeah, I bought him. If you take him, you're stealing. And Bubbles is like, aliens are all about rules.
Right, and it's like, wait a second. And then the commander is like, hey, wait a second. You look familiar. Have I met you before?
Yeah, and he's like, I'm former CIA, Roswell, 1972. And she's like,
hey, you had hair.
Yeah, you had hair.
That's what's different about
it. So she's like, okay, 626's sentence has been changed to a lifetime in exile.
Right, on this one planet.
Yeah.
He doesn't get to leave this planet.
And also, we're going to place this family, his protectors, under Galactic Federation protection, so you can't break them up, Bubbles. And he's like...
And Bubbles like, shit, all right.
I'm going to have to explain this down at HQ.
Right. So he's kind of still CIA, which that there's a lot of questions there. He does say he's former, but also... He still has to explain it to someone. No, you're still CIA, bro.
Yeah. And Nani's like, so you were in the CIA? And he's like, yeah, I saved the world once. I convinced an alien race that mosquitoes were an endangered species.
Oh, there it is. There's the callback.
Yeah.
All right. So then we get a house rebuilding montage.
Yeah.
To Burning Love.
Yeah, and they're using like some of the parts of the rocket ships and so, like it's a really big, nice house that they're making. And then we just get the montage sort of like morphs into just like domestic life. They're going to the grocery. Stitch is making little bag lunches for Lilo and Nani when they're going to work and school.
But Gantu and Pleakley have, I guess, officially had their relationship moment that they realized they were together because they're also part of the family. And they're celebrating holidays with them now.
Yeah, we get like, by the end of it, I think we're seeing just like, snapshot, like Polaroid pictures of everybody. Bubbles is visiting sometimes. We get like
I feel like Bubbles shouldn't be allowed to, though, just because of his, like, you don't want to get that close to a family that you almost broke apart, maybe?
Yeah.
Or maybe you do, I don't know.
Yeah. And then one of the last ones we get is the whole family visiting Graceland, which I thought was really cute. And then the very last thing we see is on that wall of family photos, the slightly singed photo of Lilo and Nani and their parents is taped back to the wall, but where things were burned away, they were able to tape Stitch in, that he's now with them, really part of the family.
Aw. Maybe always was, to a degree.
Yeah.
No. So I mean, obviously it was a sweet movie. Don't get me wrong. In 2002, I was too fucking cool for this movie. But also, as a like young adult, probably it would have been really weird for me to get and go to see it. So it makes sense why I didn't have like an affection towards it at the time.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I was graduating high school when this came out as well. I feel like I did see it on like a date or something, but like, it didn't.
That definitely would change it. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it was like I think this is the second time I've seen it. Like I saw it in the theaters, and then I haven't seen it since. And like, it's just, it's probably, especially from that era of Disney, it's one of like the best that they did. Like, this was when like all of Disney's good stuff was really just Pixar stuff, and the actual Disney movies were just kind of like but no, this one, I like this one. I think it's unique. It's different than everything else that Disney has done. This was at the death or the end of their like golden age, right? Mm-hmm. Or the second golden age, I guess is what it was called. Yeah. But yeah, it's a sweet story about like, but it's both about like finding your family and also appreciating the family that you have, because you could lose them at any time. It's very sentimental, but it's like, it's sweet, and it's open to all the possibilities that you
Right.
know life can give you as far as like a family goes.
Right, exactly. Like the whole found family thing, I think, kind of started here to a degree, at least the wide acceptance of it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so it's sweet, and I mean, you know, it again is absolutely a Frankenstein story where the monster finally finds the family that he was looking for at the end.
Right.
So,
Well, it helps that he's not also trying to mate with anybody, right? So, well, not in this movie. I think there's another one that he does, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know there's a Pink Stitch somewhere.
yeah, I've not seen any of the other, like, I don't know if there's like a direct-to-video sequel or like a little mini-series or something. But
Almost certainly.
this is the only thing I've seen from this universe.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know. I'd be willing to check out the other thing, but I don't know. Like, Disney definitely doesn't have the greatest track record when it comes to sequels.
No. They're ones and dones. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's an exception to that rule, and someone will bring it up, but also, we don't care. Because mostly, like, most of their things don't need sequels, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only, like, sequels they have that are actually, like, well-regarded are, again, the Pixar things. The Toy Story movies,
Right,
those are all
exactly.
pretty popular, but, like,
Yeah.
outside of that, I don't know that any of them have really, like, had successful sequels.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, we enjoyed the movie. It's good stuff. We definitely resonate with the message. So, and also, this is the first time I've ever seen it. So,
Oh, really?
this is my first actual interaction with Stitch. Yep.
Wow, okay. That's
So
great.
I'll admit it. Yep. So there you go.
Yeah, so it's definitely one worth checking out, especially, you know, if you have kids in your life. Like, I mean, if you have kids in your life, you've probably already seen this many times over. But
Right.
but yeah, it's worth seeing even if you don't. Like, I think it has a good message and it's fun, and you know, it's not too sentimental. Like, it has some fun, silly stuff, and it's got a lot of things going on that I enjoyed.
Yeah. Just don't be a cynical shithead like I was at the time, I guess. Whatever. But anyway, so obviously we loved it. So Anthony, we're messing with, I don't honestly can't segue into this, so we're just doing Cutters Club next week.
Yeah, this is one that I just threw on the schedule at the last minute. I don't know if you've heard anything about this. This is a movie that Full Moon Features shot in 2005, starring Tony Todd, but it never got finished. They didn't do any of the special effects. It got shelved. It got lost, and they just found it. So they did they finished it. They did the special effects and everything just now, and they just dropped it on Tubi. I have not watched it yet, but like, you know, it looks like it is Frankenstein-y. It's a lost movie from like 20 years ago starring Tony Todd. I was like, hell yeah, we got to watch this. So,
All right. I'm very dubious of this claim by Charles Band. One, because Charles Band is a noted liar on occasion. Two, Tony Todd just died. So I feel like they're like, hey, we've got nothing, you know, we don't have to worry about his lawyers coming after us.
yeah, it definitely feels like I don't know how lost it was, but it's certainly they're riding on the coattails of Tony Todd having just died.
It's pretty interesting that they found it so quickly after his passing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a little while, but still.
Yeah, so I'm sure it's not gonna, you know, it's a Full Moon movie. It's not gonna be the greatest thing, but it seemed like a fun, kind of interesting thing, and it's neat that we're gonna get to see like Tony Todd from 20 years ago that is like, you know, new stuff we've not seen before.
Right, absolutely. All right, Anthony, where can they find us?
Yeah, so you can find us on all the socials at The Frankencast. You can email us at thefrankencast@gmail.com. We're also over on YouTube, and of course you can always find us at patreon.com/thefrankencast, where we're always trying new things, doing some, you know, more out of the box stuff. So we'd love to have you over there if you want an extra episode from us every week.
Absolutely. All right, friends. Well, thank you one more time, and to be continued.
Looks like you survived another episode. The Frankencast is a production of FCR Media. It's hosted by Anthony Bowman and Eric Velasquez. Follow us on Twitter at The Frankencast, or send us a letter at thefrankencast@gmail.com. Our cover art is by Amanda Keller. You can find her at Keller Illustrations on Instagram. Our theme music is by Vivek Abhishek. Thanks for listening.